Hi, good morning, everybody. This is Andrew Lowsutea present. Hey, today this lecture will be very, very important for many ladies who thought that, well, I'm just a pre-diabetic. Do I have to worry a lot? Well, actually, today we will dive a little deeper, basically to have you better understanding. Women actually with diabetes are actually higher incidence of getting more serious, like issue of heart disease and also potential in stroke, things like that. And let me explain a little bit why. Because at the end of the day, when you have a lot of hormonal changes, including your menopause and so forth, and basically at the end of the day, your actual blood sugar will continue to go up normally higher than typical men. So you need to take steps in a sense to really control your pre-diabetic so you don't get really out of control. Eventually, you have all kind of issues on diabetic complication. So today lecture is really to help you to better understand that, so you can take really empower yourself to really make that control. So basic that today lecture is that, and I would dive deep what hormonal changes will affect your blood sugar. And if you're pre-diabetic, don't take it lightly, really got to work on. So today is the lecture might be very, very, sort of enlighten you to get you better understand what's going on. So I will start off our webinar now. All right, good. I think that we all set up. So today we will talk about is uncover women unique pre-diabetic risk. And so this way you have better understand, well, why I have to be careful if I'm pre-diabetic as a woman. And you can do it because you can basically have that control if you take action while you're pre-diabetic. So you can eliminate many of the potential pre-diabetic risk to convert yourself to be diabetes. So today, that's the whole lecture is all about. The reason why I did this is because a lot of my customer who are actually ladies, and they came in with a A1C of usually around 6.23, and they're not quite 4 yet. And they said, hey, I have no sign symptom. And I said, well, don't take it lightly because many of them actually was able to surprisingly actually convert it very quickly, like within 3 to 4 months from, 6.12 and all the way to 6.578 and continue going up. So they were literally surprised that, hey, the change is so fast. So I explained to them why they change so fast. So I thought today lecture will help you enlighten you why this happened. And I think this is going to be a very lecture to kind of open your mind and what you got to do. And you have to change your lifestyle at this stage when you have hitting 45, 50, 60, between that 50 to 60 years old, whereby your blood sugar will potentially go up very quickly. And if you don't do it, and you know what? A sad part is you become a diabetic, and eventually the issue with diabetic complication will come. And I don't want to see you that. I want you to be healthy, enjoy life, and able to have a very good aging, happiness with your friends, relatives, your husband, and whatever, so you can able to enjoy that. And that is so important. You have to lower your blood sugar, you have to change your lifestyle, and we'll tell you more about that. Well, okay, so we start a lecture. Today we'll talk about what is really, at the end of the day, why this hormone will impact your blood sugar and metabolism. Really, a lot of people never talk about it. I don't think many so-called typical health clinic don't even talk about that either. And a lot of times that lady kind of miss the warning sign, especially they kind of wonder what's happening, but they miss the sign and don't take control, and that result the blood sugar continue to go up. And we'll give you a lot of the very practical, realistic strategy, including how to tailor yourself to lower that blood sugar, and why this thing happened, in a sense that why your body changed and it affect your blood sugar going up, and how can Lowsutea help. And seriously, Lowsutea really can help you to combat that sugar issue and that result, you will continue to be healthy. Plus, adding our program with the change your lifestyle, change, make sure that you have, uh, uh, change the diet, exercise, and so forth. So we will talk all about today. Okay, so let's start. Now, today, I saw quite a few number of people here are new to me, and usually we take a couple minutes just to catch up. What is diabetic? You usually go through 4 stages. The first stage is the LDL cholesterol goes up, and start damaging the B cell coming out from the pancreas. And B cells will take sugar to the cell. So when B cell kind of damage and the sugar are not getting to the cells, there are more and more sugar circulating in the bloodstream because the cell are not using it. So net result, the first problem must occur because LDL cholesterol plus sugar mixed together, the blood becomes thick. And then plaque is going to start forming, and it's formed throughout the body. And very quickly you move to stage 2, because stage 2 is when your blood sugar become thick and forming plaque with the cholesterol. Blood become thick with cholesterol become forming plaque, and you have less space on these vessels, so blood pressure is going to start elevated. Usually 130 is the normal range, and now you're going to 140, 150, 160, and so on and so on. And at this stage, you really have no pain, nothing much, and you will not know until suddenly you go to the doctor office to check, and your blood pressure going up. So that's usually people find out. But if you don't do anything, you don't change lifestyle, live the same old way, you know what? Very quickly you move to stage 3. Stage 3 is where you have pre-diabetic, and your pre-diabetic that's the time that all doctor will measure a single thing. It's called HbA1c. They measure your hemoglobin, how much sugar attached to the hemoglobin, how many percent of sugar. So you have 5.7 below, you're a normal person. You have 5.7 to 6.4. Now you become a pre-diabetic. Unfortunately, in pre-diabetic stage, you have no medication. The doctor would not say, hey, I'll give you med because you're not diabetic yet. So they will not give you medication. They won't say, hey, you got to change your lifestyle. You now got to have low carb diet, low fat diet. You have to exercise, you lower your weight. You get a BMI lower than 23. So these are the kind of message you get. But mostly you're not going to act a lot because you don't have much worry and no pain. But one thing that really help you is Lowsutea. This is the time where Lowsutea can help you lower blood sugar, cholesterol, and your blood pressure. Now you got to take action. You don't take action, 2 to 3 years, you know what? You will convert to a diabetic because your A1C most likely moved up beyond 6.4. I saw a lot of my clients become that. And once they converted, you know what? You can come back. And you gotta continue to change your lifestyle to don't let it keep going up. Because you even start your medication, that blood sugar will also gonna go up. So you need to change that lifestyle. Plus, gotta drink Lowsutea. And basically that's the whole cycle. And a lot of people, now experience that they did it. You know what? The blood sugar actually went back down to 5.7. So that is wonderful. Now we'll talk about Lowsutea. Why Lowsutea then? Well, Lowsutea has only 2 things in there. There's uh actually there's guava leaves, which slow down the sugar get into the vessels. And then there is the bitter melon, increase the insulin sensitivity. So the insulin take the sugar back to the cells, so the cells get energy. And the wonderful one thing is really important. Bitter melon take the excess sugar and cholesterol and salt, dump that out urine. They don't reabsorb to the body. So net result, any excess sugar, it'll go down, cholesterol go down, the salt go down, then after that, your blood pressure will come down. So your 3 high, sugar, cholesterol, and blood pressure will come down because of Lowsutea. So it's a very unique product. It's not a drug. It's only a tea. All you got to do is just drink the tea, and this definitely will happen. A lot of people have that experience already. Now, we don't just tell you to drink tea. The reason is because you got to understand your disease. You got to understand what else you got to do to prevent you from really changing your whole body practice so you can able to accommodate this continued elevations of blood sugar, because diabetes, it won't get well. All you can do is control. So we also give you lots of information regarding how to do a low carb diet, low fat diet. We'll also give you some idea how to do exercise, 8 to 10,000 steps a day. It's just easy to accommodate. It's not hard. And the key is you got to spend time to do it. You have to weight control. BNI will less than your BNI lower than equal to 23. If you're 30, bring it down to 23. And we have weekly webinar every week, free of charge for you to understand your disease. And that Dr. Webinar will do it every your time, and it's free. You should listen. If you don't listen, we'll send you replay. You can go to YouTube to listen to it. And our YouTube here is just go YouTube and go down CTT's Lowsutea/video. CTTEASLOWSUTEA/VIDEOS. You go there, there's over 370 video for you to look at. You can take a time to listen, and also teach you how to daily blood tracking. So this is what we do. I saw a lot of people with A1C 10 plus above, drop it down to 5.7. And this is really basically, we see all the time with our customer having that satisfaction. So let's talk about what are we talking about today. So if you're pre-diabetic, usually your blood sugar higher than normal. Usually A1C should be 5.7% below. Remember the hemoglobin, the amount of sugar attached to hemoglobin is 5.7% below. If you're above that, 5.7, 6, and 4, now you're pre-diabetic. So if you're at pre-diabetic stage, now you're not diabetic, so we don't give you medication, but you have to change your lifestyle. Usually that the doctor will tell you that. But once you go over 6.5, now you're at the type 2 diabetic. 95% of diabetic patients like that. So you got to start control. Make sure you don't go to type 2 while you're at the pre-diabetic. Well, why become a pre-diabetic? Well, because the problem is the cell become resistant to insulin. Either they react to the insulin slowly or not even react well, and the pancreas keep coming out with insulin, but on the other hand, it doesn't go into the cells. So more insulin come out, the insulin is not going to work as well. So more insulin come out. So now you what they call normally called this is called insulin resistant, and your normal blood sugar will not stay the same. Now will continue to move up. And then your pancreas eventually keep doing work, but it ran out of capacity. So more and more sugar in the blood stream now. Now you basically continue to move yourself up to a pre-diabetic stage. And your blood, in the pre-diabetic stage, if you don't continue to control that, eventually in 2 to 3 years, you know what? You become a type 2 diabetic. And that's how it developed. Now, a lot of people say, well, how do I find out am I pre-diabetic or not? So you go to the doctor office, they do a lab test. One, they do called a fasting plasma glucose testing, which you have 8 hours, don't get any food, and they'll test what is your blood sugar at that time. So usually if you didn't, drink, eat anything after 8 hours, you should have less than 100 grams per deal, or less than 5.6 millimole per liter. Your A1C should be below 5.7 if you're a normal person. If you're over 5.7, 6, and 4, you know what? You are a pre-diabetic. So that is the two major testing you need to have. One is fasting plasma glucose testing. Second is the A1C. Now, a lot of doctors will just do the A1C. The reason is because it is a much more better test. It give you a 3-month average. So a lot of doctors will just do that. Now, also in pre-diabetic, you have fairly much no symptom. Many times, well, usually have no symptom. But if you have some symptom, usually the dark skin, an armpit, or side of the neck, The thing is, you also have a lot of called skin tag. This is a thing that is skin tag. You have a lot of this skin tag coming. And sometimes that your eyes start getting blurred, like people say, hey, my eyeglasses no good anymore. Really not. You got to check. If that is really blurred, you better really go with a doctor check whether it's a blood sugar too high. Now, a lot of people is totally, especially lady, were not really that sensitive. Really, that's an issue of hormone and the blood sugar. And really, hormone is a very important system to your body. It controls many functions like blood sugar level, which there are few hormone, which is so important. The first hormone is estrogen. And then I'll talk to you a little bit what is estrogen is all about. And then you will talk about really progesterone and testosterone and cortisol. All these are actually a group of hormones that manage your blood sugar. So you got to actually understand, wow, you mean I have all these hormones that I have to worry. A lot of people actually think about it, but never did talk about hormones. That's why we gotta help lady to understand this full hormone is so important for you to manage blood sugar and figure how to help you to better better control this hormone. Cool. So first of all, estrogen is generally improve the insulin sensitivity, and really at the end of the day, it help you to help you to control make sure that your heart, especially improve your heart, whereby it doesn't increase cholesterol. Actually, also your vessel, if you have enough estrogen, it will not be hardened. So you will have less risk of heart and future potential stroke issue. So estrogen is very important. It really did make sure improve your insulin sensitivity. So if you have better insulin sensitivity, actually then your blood sugar work better, right? So estrogen hormone is extremely important. Now progesterone hormone is actually cause slight insulin resistant. And so because of that, lady tend to, get mood swing, and also the menopause, not menopause, monthly cycle will be somewhat funny, not regular. And cortisol is a stress hormone which tell the body, hey, I need to do more work because I give you more sugar to fight. So they pumped up more sugar for you. So if you are continue to have chronic stress, your blood sugar will continue to go up. And all those are affected by cortisol hormone. And then you have the pregnancy issue. Pregnancy that after have issue of the placenta, which also increase the insulin sensitivity. The reason is because of that will make sure that your baby get the sugar. And if you somehow this is not working well, then you have gestation diabetic. So now I give you a sort of a slight introduction of what is this hormone all about now. So now you have to go, you say, wow, so how I'm going to make sure my hormone are good and balanced so I don't get into trouble with that. Okay. So really women tend to have higher risk of this issue with hormone affected your blood sugar. Now, first of all, you have your period, cycle, and if your hormone change, it actually affect, especially estrogen or progesterone. It direct impact your body how to manage this blood sugar. And so with that, if you don't have that correct, good hormone balance, is end up actually estrogen, for example, come down, then you have more harder vessels, more cholesterol, and also more plaques being formed. All those can affect you. And so that's why this hormone is not function well. You have all this risk of your heart and so forth. Now, certainly in pregnancy, why there are so many people have gestation diabetic and eventually develop type 2 diabetic in the latest stage after the pregnancy. And again, this is something that is somewhat related with hormone, and you have to be watched as a woman. So really, at the end of the day, especially when you get older, your estrogen also go down. Now, when you go down the estrogen, it lead to actually more fat storage in the tummy. So for lady, the stomach will become abdomen become bigger, and net result of that, you have more insulin resistance, and also you have potential more heart issue. So women, in a sense that this is the kind of general state risk that you need to watch out. So that that four hormone that we mentioned, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, cortisol, all these four hormones can be really affect your body in sense of your menstrual, your blood sugar, all that will be kind of very related to potential risk for you. So if a woman are pre-diabetic, it's not really just only increase, the blood sugar. The important thing is increase deeper than that is your heart disease and stroke. So with that, because of those hormone changes, they kind of set the stage for you to have more blood vessels damages and also more inflammation, especially the estrogen hormone. And I mentioned that earlier. I will maybe explain a little more later. Now, the important here is if you have diabetes, you have higher risk of heart disease compared to men. And that is something that you have to note. The reason is because of the hormonal estrogen, as I mentioned. And certainly, if you pregnancy, you have also another issue come along. You're going to have a lot of stress during pregnancy, and plus your placenta make the body insulin resistant because basically they will get more, make sure the baby get glucose, the sugar, blood sugar, and so net result, your pancreas cannot generate enough insulin. Then net result, eventually you become gestation diabetic. And so this is the major issue that will come along with women pregnancy also. So with the hormone and plus pregnancy, and that will become a more issue coming along. Now, one more thing that a lot of people don't realize, there's a PCOS, which is polycystic ovary syndrome, which link also insulin resistant. And many ladies tend to have the ovary with some kind of cyst inside the ovary. And when you have that, the insulin level get worsened. It become irregular period of ovary. The period become very irregular, and also the testosterone production will be increased. And when you do that, the most important is to help to manage the polycystic ovary syndrome. Should make sure manage insulin resistant. That will be the major core strategy. Now, as you go older, one of the things that women will also face is menopause. Now, when you have menopause, your estrogen will also decrease. When estrogen, the estrogen hormone will decrease, then the issue we'll have is the fat starts storing somehow more to the abdomen. And when you have that, your body will have more insulin resistance. So that's the reason why when you lose estrogen and the type 2 diabetes tend to increase significantly after your menopause because your estrogen will go down. Now, estrogen is very interesting. You have to have good level of estrogen. If you don't have, the artery doesn't get relaxed, and inflammation start increasing, plaques start forming, cholesterol getting more on the vessels. So basically, estrogen is uh, uh, important hormone. Unfortunately, when you menopause, the estrogen tend to go down. So, telling you all that, with that four major hormone we talk about, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, cortisol. What woman body warning sign we have to watch? First of all, if you are continue feel fatigue, as in have a good night's sleep, even you slept good 8 hours, somehow at nighttime you thought that you were good sleep, but in the afternoon you feel like a dead duck. 3 p.m. you feel tired. Now that most likely is a first good sign, telling you that maybe you have some issue with the hormones issue, and eventually that will be related to your pre-diabetic. The reason why is your body cells are not even getting the insulin, so it won't get the sugar into the cell. You're not getting enough sugar in the cell. You're gonna leave you whatever your cells have, the energy, it start draining off, just like a battery. No more battery. So you're gonna feel tired. And that is a very common sign. And on top of that, secondly, is unexplained weight changes. Like for example, you suddenly somehow gain a lot of weight, and usually is getting on the abdominal area, and you have no change of diet, you need more, but somehow you are just getting more weight, and you have difficulty losing that weight even though you exercise, you lower your calorie intake. Well, the reason is what happened, you have more insulin, body continue resisted this insulin, and then the problem is you have more insulin resistance, sugar not going to the cell. With that, you promote fat storage into the body, especially into the waistline, and make it so difficult for you to burn off these body fats. And that is a very common sign for people. Somehow, when you get down to 40, 50 years old, somehow this starts suddenly coming. And that is a very good sign of you gotta start looking, are you having some pre-diabetic issue? On top of that, secondly, you start feeling, wow, I'm very thirsty all the time. The mouth is getting dry. I also feel hungry. After eat, I feel hungry again. And you're craving for sugar and carbs. And that is also another very common sign. So the reason with that is the body fluid, because you have the sugars a lot of sugar in the bloodstream. The body cells fluid is that putting out to the bloodstream. So net result, the cell has so like, well, I need water, I need water. So you basically you need to drink more water, because your cell will say, hey, I need some more water. And that result, you drink more water, feel thirsty. And on top of that, because of the fact that you have less cells getting the sugar, so in your mind would tell you, although you have a lot of sugar in your bloodstream, but your cells not getting it. So you're gonna say, oh, I'm hungry, I need to eat, I need to eat. So basically, you're gonna start getting that. And that is the reason why you get dry mouth, thirsty, and you eat and somehow never get satisfied. And on top of that, you also have irregular period. Okay, your period usually every month, right? Now you're longer than 35 days and so unpredictable. Usually that also comes with insulin resistance. The key driver is the polycystic disease, the high insulin. It disrupts the ovary, uh, release the egg. So net result, you will have continued imbalance with the reproductive hormone, and net result, your insulin resistance continue goes up. So importantly, don't ignore the irregular period. You gotta go see a gynecologist to check it out and see how can help you. Now, a lot of people also with the sign that don't think about is they couldn't sleep. They had trouble sleeping, or also the mood swing. They wake up frequently, night sweat, feeling unrefreshed. Even they thought that they could sleep well, but they didn't. The worst that is a mood swing, uh, anxiety, brain fog, irritable. The reason for that happen is because the blood sugar is starting to spike up, and it affected the cortisol, which is a stress hormone, which interfering your sleep cycle. When you're a lot of stress, the hormone cortisol come out. So now become really difficult to sleep because the body keeps saying, I'm ready to fight now, fight war. Okay. And the brain also start running out glucose because you basically, the sugar go around, but on the other hand, it's not getting to the brain cells yet. So you really not getting that sugar into the brain. So net result, your mood will be impacted, your cognitive function, your brain function will be affected. So with that, you know that your sleeping will be affected and your mood will be continue to be, yeah, not stable. And that's why you're so grumpy. Okay. Well, that's a problem when you have hormonal changes. Now, you don't want to take it, ignore this situation. You really got to look at pre-diabetic as a precursor in the future to change to diabetes, type 2 diabetic. And if you don't do anything now, in a sense, you start preventing, you have to lower your blood sugar, decrease insulin resistance. Net result, 2 to 3 years or 2 to 3 to 5 years, you will be changed to a serious type 2 diabetic. And once you go to type 2 diabetic, now you have a lifelong disease with many issues of blood sugar monitoring, high risk, and all type of diabetic complications, including heart attack, stroke, memory loss, nerve damage, and kidney disease. All that disease will come. So really, you have to take this very early sign of pre-diabetic seriously, so you can prevent that. Now, typical sign of pre-diabetic is increased thirst, frequent urination, increased hungry. After eat, I still want to eat again. And you feel tired of it. 3 o'clock, you're like a dead duck. And also vision blur. You might sometimes lose vision. And net result, you might potentially moving to heart disease. The more frequent also can feel in pre-diabetic as numbness and tingling feet and hand, especially dryness on the skin of the feet, and tend to have flicking, dry skin basically, and also frequent infection. The sore doesn't heal well. It's very slow. You should 1 week you heal, but now take 2 3 weeks it's not healing. And then sometimes you have a very unintended weight loss. Suddenly you become thinner. I have no reason, not gaining weight, but thinner. And so also we need to watch is also people have kidney disease. And because of the fact that now you're continuing moving more toward the high blood sugar, you got to have a higher chance to have heart disease and stroke. The significant risk of pre-diabetic, if you don't take care of it, you become a type 2 diabetic. Your blood vessel starts damaging because remember, the blood, the sugar and the cholesterol mix together, the blood become thick and start blocking everywhere, and the vessels start blocking, and will also block your heart and also your brain. And that result, you can end up with heart attack, a potential stroke, and also high blood pressure. And this is the typical moving when you are pre-diabetic, this is what you're going to gain as you move on from pre-diabetic to diabetes. So for women, definitely have higher risk with heart disease compared with men with diabetic. So you got to keep that in mind Don't take it lightly. If you're pre-diabetic, you gotta go look for more make sure monitor your treatment for the diabetes. Now, and insist that also you're gonna have high uh, insulin resistant because of PCOS, polycystic disease, which actually disrupts your entire ovulations, eggs coming out, the hormone imbalance, and with that you have more difficult to, your period is going to be all irregular, and you really, at the end of the day, you have to effectively manage your blood sugar by improving your insulin resistant, control your sugar. So net result, your menstruation regularity is restored, and ovulation also regular restore. And that will, at the end of the day, actually significantly improve your fertility outcome. So that is important. Very important to do that. Now, so also mom and baby, when you're pregnant, you also have some complication which you need to look at. Now, during the pregnancy, if you don't manage your blood sugar, in other words, you let it go, let the blood sugar go up, that is bad, because that will become a diabetes for sure. But even more important, when you have high blood sugar level, you tend to have also a problem with called preeclampsia, high blood pressure going up, very dangerous. If you don't take care of that, you can potentially die, with this, because in maternity, preeclampsia is a very dangerous thing. You have to very quickly bring down the blood pressure. And as you know, if you ready to deliver, you have preeclampsia, that's really a bad situation. Plus, you might also have C-section, meaning the baby has delivered by not natural birth, but by cutting the baby out. And also, if you have diabetes, tend to have large baby, and that is also lead to potential your problem and the child problem. That eventually this baby is so large, they also have future potential diabetic problem or glucose problem. So really, at the end of the day, if you have a history of gestation diabetes, meaning that you might have a higher risk to develop type 2 diabetes in life in the future. And for the child, you also give potential risk of obesity, and it might be also turn into a metabolic issue for the child. So all that will be really potential comes in, which you have to watch at. Now, to help you to prevent all these pre-diabetic complications, so important, you have to maintain a healthy lifestyle for pre-diabetic and also diabetes. So what that means is you need to have good balanced diet, meaning you have a lot of fruits, a lot of grains, limited processed food. You don't drink sugar drink like bubble tea, forget that. And you have to eat good protein, but not unhealthy fat like hot dog, fats, whatever meat that you eat. That is not the way to go for it. And you have to have physical activities. In other words, you have to walk. You have to walk 30 minutes a day to 1 hour a day, even though you are pregnant, but that's okay, walk. And you have to increase the physical activities. So it's so important. You have to have diet control with low-fat diet, high, lot of vegetable. You have to have your exercise, and you're not pregnant, you can also lower your weight. That will definitely help you to prevent your pre-diabetic complication. Net result of that, you will sleep well, and you also need to make sure that you have continued to mentally in positive stage. Now, certainly losing weight is important. You don't want to be obese, because when you lower your weight 10% of weight, you actually decrease 1% point of A1C. So in other words, your A1C is 7, you will drop it down to 6. So that is very important. You don't need to worry about further medication as you move on because your A1C had dropped down to 6. So usually no medication will go on. You need to quit smoking. So smoking will actually increase your blood sugar control with complication. And you have to manage your stress because if you don't manage stress, blood sugar goes up. The cortisol, remember, the stress hormone goes up and give you more sugar. You don't want to do that. So you have to have maybe yoga, meditation, spend time walking, and make sure that you don't get your stress because stress get insulin resistant and more sugar will come out. And certainly it's important to drink your at least 6 to 8 glasses of Lowsutea every day. That will help you to lower your blood sugar, cholesterol, and blood pressure. We talk about how Lowsutea help you. Lowsutea, the guava, and bitter man. Guava slow down the sugar into the bloodstream. Bitter man increase insulin sensitivity and takes sugar into the cells. But the best thing is bitter melon take excess sugar, LDL cholesterol, and also salt, dump off the urine so you will lower your 3 high and also detox. So take care of blood sugar, cholesterol, and blood pressure. So net result, you can be healthy. So in conclusion today, pre-diabetic is a very important warning sign for all ladies. It is really for the opportunity for you to really do something now. If you don't do something now, which meaning you have understanding now, you know you're pre-diabetic, you have all kinds of hormonal effect to you, you need to take charge of that and make sure that all these hormonal effect will become, well handled. And usually you have, if you start missing some of the sign symptom, then you might not take action and eventually might convert to a type 2 diabetic. But if you see the symptom coming over, like persistently, you feel tired, you also cannot get rid of the weight, keep getting increasing weight, and you intensely craving for food, and your menstrual cycle is totally irregular, the body is telling you something. So you need to go for your gynecologist, check it out, make sure that you are not really start getting a pre-diabetic moved into certain things that will affect down the road for you to become a type 2 diabetes. So you need to start doing action to you to basically, like for example, getting your exercise, go for at least half an hour to 1 hour walk, after dinner, whatever. You have to control your diet, low fat and low carb diet, and also start lowering weight. And certainly drinking Lowsutea 6 to 8 glasses every day, maintain better blood sugar, cholesterol, and blood pressure. That will be extremely helpful to prevent your pre-diabetic continue to get worse. So if you have any question, do write to me, Andy@wafong.com, ANDY@WAHFONG.com, or WhatsApp us, 852-6792-8891. It's so important. If you have a question, let us know because we'd love to answer your question. A lot of people do write to us and also share with us what you like to hear. So remember today, the hormone in your body do affect your body, increase your blood sugar, and also might be all that can be affect the whole body, controlling your blood sugar. And if you don't take good care of it, you end up your sugar continue to move up and your pre-diabetic stage are not well controlled, and 3 to 5 years, now you become a type 2 diabetic. And that's what you don't want to go. You want to make sure pre-diabetic, go back to normal. So today is the lecture. We're going to talk about hormone. I hope you have a better understanding what the estrogen will do, progesterone, what it could do for you, testosterone, what could happen to you too, and why cortisol has to well control. So make sure that you don't increase the stress. Cortisol can go up and pump you more sugar. Okay, thank you very much. I hope you have a nice weekend. I know this topic might be a little more not easy to understand, but at least now you know hormone does affect your blood sugar, and you have to make sure that well controlled to ensure that you continue to be healthy, not to move yourself from pre-diabetic to diabetes. Thank you.